welcome to your day off. My name's Courtney, sitting with my best bud, Tony. What's up, man?
What's up, homie? Man.
So we're at, for us, it's second day at premiere.
Yep.
So if you hear any background noise and all that stuff, there's a lot of action going on.
Dude, man, this podcast has been one in the making for a while.
Yeah, I mean, literally, we tried to arrange this 1 year ago at this event in this hallway with our artist today. We tried to arrange it, and we just haven't been able to do it. So it's 1 year in the making, and now it's made.
Yeah, he's too busy.
Yeah, no, this dude, you know.
Oh man, dude, I can't wait to get him on. So I'm not even going to try to talk who he is or talk him up. I just want to get into it.
No, exactly, right.
Let's get into it.
Bring him in.
That's not my job.
What do you mean it's not your job? So on the podcast today we have Chris Benson, the amazing Chris Benson, and I can't wait to get into his story. And I'm a little worried it's just going to be a bro fest, but I'm okay with that too. So wherever this goes, it goes.
I think we're just going to be laughing the whole time, and you're right, it's going to be a bro fest.
That's awesome. So Mr. Chris Benson, welcome to your day off.
Hey gentlemen, how are you?
Amazing, man.
Oh, thanks for
finally making it happen. Right?
Yeah,
we're here. We finally made it happen.
Right.
I know.
I can't. When you said it was a year, I was like, God, it really was a year trying to get this to happen, right? That's mental. No, I think we all have crazy schedules, and then we try and get at a hair show and stuff 30 million things into a weekend, and you're like, there's only 24 hours. Exactly. And somehow we find other hours.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. You know?
That's crazy.
So, before this bro fest starts, where are you from? Where did you grow up?
So, I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Another one, dude. This is like a Utah
Dude, I'm
weekend.
telling you, man. It's
Utah. There's a lot of killer hairdressers coming out of Utah.
There's some seriously talented, and I'm not saying that because I'm one by any means, but there's some seriously talented hairdressers coming out of Utah. And I don't know what happened there, but like great schooling, great people, and man, but seriously, there's a laundry list of talent coming out of there.
Oh my God.
So it's cool. It's cool to see it. It's cool to see it finally recognized. You know.
Yeah.
So,
and that's one of the things we talk about a lot of times on social media. Social media has made it to where, you can be anywhere, and if you got the skills, you're gonna get the recognition. Before it's always like, maybe one of the big East Coast or West Coast cities that got all the attention, but not anymore.
No, I just think the industry has opened up. I don't want to say, and it has changed. And I think that, the pendulum swung so far to everything being social, right? It was almost like everything was driven brands and driven advertised and magazines, and then it was like this whole social movement happened, and the pendulum swung the other way. And I think we'll find a happy medium where I think it's coming from all aspects, which it should be, and I think that it should be. But I think it's a great avenue that people can put things out, and it's a scary thing too. Right?
Yeah.
You're putting your stuff out there and people are looking at your work you don't even know. Right. So be careful about what you put out. Be careful what you're saying. And,
Exactly.
Be careful who you're hammering on social. But I think the bigger thing is it's a great environment to be able to share, communicate in a space that you can connect with people that you don't even know. I mean, you can see what's going on instantly in other countries. You can do live feeds to see instantly what's happening at hair shows, and we've never been able to do that kind of stuff. It's insane.
Social is a place to be seen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like so before 2013, 2000, whenever Instagram and Facebook or whatever social media, like to publish your stuff as just a regular everyday hairdresser, there just wasn't a space for you. Who's going to look at it? Who's going to see it? Everybody was fighting to get into the same 4 pictures that it was in a magazine or whatever.
No, it's true. It's true, and a lot of work. I mean, a lot of work, reputation. I remember years before I was consistently getting published, and then it was like you finally get to that point, and then social media is like happens, and it just is like none of that even matters anymore. That's a great cover, Chris. Like, but I got 1 million likes over here. So, that's real. You're like, shit, I have a cover. Doesn't matter. I had 1 million followers following me. So it's all perspective, and I think you got to utilize it to what is going to. What gets you cranked up? Why do you do it? You got to have passion for why you're doing it, because you're putting work into it. And I think it's you're going to put work into it. Love what you're doing.
We're going to get into what cranks it up for you, but we're going to rewind this thing.
That's a dangerous place.
Right. But we're going to rewind this thing a little bit to back to Utah, growing up in Utah, and how did you end up finding this industry? How did you get into this thing?
Oh, man. Honestly, I always grew up around it. I have family that's in the business, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I knew I didn't want to go to more school. When I got out of high school, I was done. It was like
More like English math type stuff.
yeah. It got to the point. I always got great grades. I just didn't want to be there. Like I just knew conjugating this verb is not the end result of where I'm going with what I want to do. But the problem was I didn't know what I wanted to do, and so I just took a year off. On my 18th birthday, I moved to Vegas. The day of my 18th
that's
birthday,
dangerous.
And I think that for me was like I just need to get away, be away from family. Not that it was a bad situation, but I think it's just you got to grow up. You got to put your feet under your ground, on 2 feet in front of you and stand on your own ground, so to speak. And my dad was never in the picture, so my mother, who raised me, her parents were always in the picture, my grandfather, and they had a huge helping hand in raising me. And my grandfather, when I was in Vegas, had a heart attack, and so I went home, obviously, and he's like, "You're the only one that's really not back home." And he says, "What do you think about coming home and going to school?" And I was like, I thought we were over there. I thought we'd be over this. Like,
Have we had this discussion?
yeah, me back in math, and like that's not the idea. And he's like, "What do you think about going to school for hair?" And I just laughed. I was like, "What?" Like that's just not my MO. And I think at that time it was like, a secondary job in the way it's weird because having family be successful in it, I saw it from a different perspective, but it was like just not for me. I just didn't think it was for me. I was like, sports guy in high school, very competitive in soccer, all these things. And so I'm just going hair. Like, so more out of respect for him, I went and checked it out and went to the beauty school. And then I saw 70 girls and went, yeah,
Oh.
this is all what was I thinking? This is so stupid. So honestly, like the first 6 months, I really never, I don't know. I can't. So let me back up. So I came back, after I went to look at the beauty school. I came back 2 weeks later, signed up, and was in beauty school. There was 4 people in my class the first day. There was 2 by the week's end, and by the middle of the first next week, I was the only person in class. So I basically had a one-on-one with my instructor for.
Hope it's a good instructor.
Like an amazing instructor. And so I think, all these little things have just lined up for me at different points of having really insane people be able to work with me. So from there, I didn't even, and I think it's such a blessing now. You really don't realize it at the time, like, oh my God, I got to see the same person every day, and she's going to check everything and, rewrap your perm. And
Right.
It's like, I don't want to rewrap the perm. It's like, it looks great right now. You don't want to screw it up. Don't screw it up. It's checked off. You checked it off. Well, you don't want to screw it up. She's like, Chris, it's practice, not once. Yeah, okay, I get that. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, and then, like, I had family in the business, and they were competing in, like, it was kind of different competitions, and there's a few of them still out there, but it was where you would actually bring a live model, and you would bring them color and finish the cut there and style. And so it was really done live, and so the National Cosmetology NCA would be doing a lot of these in the local area, and my uncle had won a bunch of these, and so here comes his nephew, and everybody's like, well, he's going to win, and I didn't.
Did you think you were going to win because you were his nephew?
No. I just, I'm competitive, so it was probably the best thing that happened to me, because I was like, oh, I knew I had something. I knew there was definitely a gift that needed to be crafted, if you will, and honed. But there was definitely something that was clicking. I just didn't have the muscle dexterity at the time to be able to reach back and do what I wanted to do. I could see it, I wanted it. I didn't have the tools, if you will, styling, cutting, whatever, to do it at that level. And then it went to the competition, and I got my ass kicked. and it was probably the best thing that happened, because it just lit a complete fire into me. Being competitive, I think, that's either something somebody has or they don't have. You can't make somebody be competitive, and so
a lot of people fold. A lot of people give up, or they quit, and then some people just stand up like, all right, I got you next time.
I love that. Tell me no.
Right.
So, and I think when I look over my career, it's funny because those are different points where almost every time something like that's dramatically happened or lost or didn't win or failed, if you will, were probably some of my greatest learning lessons. And I think that it's what you take from it. It's how you look at it. And for me, you can find so much negative about the world, or you can find the positive. It's your choice. It's your choice.
That's where you focus, right?
It is, and it's the same energy. You can't put the same. Right? It's like a quarter. It's a heads or it's tails. You either put fear into something or you put faith into something, but you can't put both. Right?
I think that's the name of the podcast, right?
Yeah.
No, but it's true. You can't.
That's true.
You can either give it fear and you're giving it that energy, or you give it faith and you're giving it that energy. But it's the same energy.
Right.
You can't give it both. It's got to be one or the other.
I love that.
So I think it's it's perception, and my life wasn't always like that. I always didn't look at things in a positive. I think you got to go through some shit in life to go, yeah, that's probably not how I want to be looking at things anymore. But
Well, let's talk about
who
that.
You make you. It's
Right.
who makes
yeah,
you.
you either speak life or you speak death, right? And
It's true.
I mean, what was that? I mean, was it just life experience, or was there a moment where you're like, you know what, everything I've done hasn't worked, so I've got to readjust? Or,
I think I'm readjusting all the time, honestly. I think you always have to take a self-inventory and go, are you good? Like, nobody looks in the mirror in the morning and goes, Chris, it's me looking in the mirror. And you have to go, Chris, are you good with this? Are you, are you happy with what you see? And I think we're always evolving, and I think we're always looking to, better yourself. I mean, I try to. Does it work every single day?
and we're not talking about artistically or anything like that.
No,
We're talking about Chris,
life.
the guy that
Life.
sits in my shoes.
Yeah.
yeah, my wife constantly trying to readjust me.
But that's a whole different thing. That's a whole different thing, bro. That's when you get into trouble, when someone's trying to readjust you when you're not ready to be readjusted. No, but I think and it's like a haircut, right? Nobody gets out of beauty school anymore, and you get out, you get your license. Nobody gets in the salon and raise your hand. Can I get a check on this haircut?
Right.
You have to be responsible for it, right? You have to be responsible for your life, and being responsible is, how do you want to live it? And you can live it in a negative, and I've done that. I've lived that, and you can do it in a positive, and I lived that. And let me tell you, I can sure tell you the difference of how things go with what your mindset is and how it rolls out.
It's interesting to me. I mean, it's really, really hard to break that negative mindset because you're only thinking negative, right?
Right.
So to actually be responsible enough to kind of flip that's the bit to me that's intriguing. Like how did that happen? Because honestly, you have to think positively about negative to get out of it in a weird kind of way.
No, it's true. And I think for me, honestly, it was like making a decision that's not how I wanted to continue. Right. I think you have to be realistic and go, okay, that didn't work, so I have two choices, and you just you fold. And he's just like, all right, I'm not even dealing with this. You fold, or you go, let me pick myself up, let me dust myself off, and how do I do it different? But I think that's where you either have to go, I'm going to take the responsibility to figure this out and try something different, or I'm going to be paralyzed by the fear of it happening again.
Right.
And so for me, it was like little goals. And like you would flip, because every day for me is like a notepad of the list, the stupid to-do list, right? And for me, but this is how it worked. The little to-do list built traction to the medium goals. The medium goals built the traction to the big goals. So for me, every single day when I'm crossing that list off, that's traction for me of motivation of like, all right, I got that done. This is done. And then it went to the medium goals. Now it's, putting collections together. Now it's shooting. Now it's building brands. Now it's whatever it is for you. But I think it's the little things and having medium goals and having long-term goals. But as soon as those are done, you have to reset them.
Right.
You can't just go, all right, that's a badass day. And tomorrow, I don't even have anything on my sheet because I was so badass today, right?
Right.
No, you have to reset them. And again, nobody's looking over your shoulder and going, Chris, are you setting the right goals? You have to figure that out for you. And it's different for everybody. Everybody's goals are different, and they should be different.
What makes you happy?
What makes you happy? And, it's different for everybody. I mean,
that's what growth is, right? Because I think
true.
when you're young, when you're 20 or whatever, like you're looking at everybody else, going like, what are they doing to be happy, and how can I do that, without kind of looking at yourself and saying, it's time for me to pick myself up by my bootstraps.
well, I don't think at 20, you're like, your happiness is so different than what it is now. Like my happiness then was like, I wanted a Mercedes, I wanted a salon, right? I wanted hot chicks,
Right.
Some of that hasn't changed. But you want, it's interesting because having a last name Benson always shrunk down to Benz, which always equated to Mercedes, right? So that was like one of the goals. I want to be 23. I want to own my own salon, own my own Mercedes. By the time I could do that, I didn't want to do that anymore, right? And so, what it was having that goal to be able to financially do that, and then go, do you really need that? And so it was interesting because when I could put myself in the position of doing it, did I need that trophy for myself to go, okay, you did that? Because that's kind of for the external world at that point, right?
Right.
And I'm not saying don't have nice things. Have nice things. It's just, for me, it's changed. And I love nice things. But I think that the evolution of what was important in your 20s, even to 25 to 30, I won't even tell you how old I am now. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I turned
31.
No, yeah. I mean, I turned 46 in July. And to think of like...
Damn, you're young.
Really?
He said psych.
Really? I'm like, dude, no. So no, I just think it's just you evolve to what is good, what is good for you, and what is good for your soul, and what feels good to you. And for me, it's a lot of it's giving back to other people. I mean, that for me is what feels good to my soul. That's part of why I did CBC. Was part of that was about giving other people a platform. I already have the platform. So for me, it was like
sharing that platform.
It's sharing the platform. It's up and comers that don't have that space right now to be able to do it and go watch this shit.
Oh my God!
I mean, guys.
Well, I know you impacted somebody that we recently did a show with, Casey Powell.
Oh yeah, my baby.
Watching you two guys on stage was amazing.
It was really weird because I mean, anybody that's met Casey, she's like the most darling and sweet person,
so sweet
in the world,
and so talented,
And to watch her on your stage at Naha was like, I was almost like a proud papa.
Yeah.
Like I have no responsibility for anything in her career, but I'm like, man, that girl, like she killed it. We actually met her exactly 1 year ago here as well, and she was kind of like, I made fun of her yesterday. She was kind of like, she came up here and she was kind of a wallflower and didn't really want to meet us, but thought it was necessary. Exactly. But did. And then and last night she hung out with us for hours just hanging, So that's cool. I actually want to.
She's on the main stage this weekend with me.
I know.
That's my.
Guess who's in the audience?
Partner in the.
Yeah, we're going to be in the audience.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, everybody's want to be in the audience for this one. We definitely want to shake it up a little bit. We want to bring the art and the production value back, and not for the sake of like making things a circus, but to be able to wrap a package, beautiful artistry, hair, amazing talent. And then wrap a production value around that. I think we need to get back to.
I love that.
We need to get back to that where people walk away from the main stage and went, "Damn, that was inspiring as hell."
That was a show.
That was a show.
That was a show.
Right?
Yeah.
That was a show, and that's what it should be on the main stage.
That's awesome.
And that's what's happening tomorrow.
So unfortunately, the main stage will be over by the time anybody hears it. But you should have been there.
You should have been there.
The FOMO should be real.
We'll be selling DVDs.
Hey, Chris, so go
out of his bed.
Yeah, out of my
bed. Back of his band. Casey will be out there pumping them up.
Yes.
So Chris, I mean, you're a multiple nominee for Naha, a few times winner for Naha. So
how many times?
I've won Naha 5 times, 4 for color and 1 for People's Choice.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everybody knows you as just this ultimate artist in the truest sense of artist. Like, what were your artistic endeavors, before you got into hair? Were there any, or was it just something? Like,
Absolutely none.
So this has been your only medium.
This medium has, for me, completely changed the way I look at life. I mean, honestly, and hair was the medium, but there's so many more artistic things that I've done, touched, played with other mediums after playing in this medium, and it built confidence. No, man, I have family that can draw incredible art, and mine are like stick figures.
That blows me away.
No,
man.
So growing up, it was never one of those things but it was a different medium, right? That wasn't my medium, so I had to find my medium, and yeah. You see, yours is good. He showed me a head sheet he's done. Yours is good. Mine would have like a whole nose, like it'd be Pinocchio, long neck. No, so I think it's again, I think it's challenging yourself to play in different stuff. I mean, now I have insane paintings I've done that hang in my house. For me to hang something in my house is pretty.
Has to be impressive.
It has to be impressive. I've seen a lot of things.
Right.
I've seen a lot of things in the world. So, and that's just not something I would have ever done before. I wouldn't even attempted it. But now, after being around artists and seeing different art, forget hair, but seeing art, it just was like, let's try it. So most people don't even know that. When they come in, they're like, oh my God, look at this. And you're just like,
yeah, that's right.
That's dope.
I like
that. But it's better they don't know. I want to hear what the
The honest,
unsubjected honesty.
The honesty of it.
So it's cool. So things like that I would have never done. I painted people, live on stage. The hair color matched the outfits. I mean, we're going to do something crazy in the show tomorrow. So.
He keeps teasing it, and it's just you and I.
I can't wait.
I can't wait, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be good, boys. No, and listen, and this is the way we want to carry shows on. We don't want it to just be here. We want it to be like, you see CBC, and you see a show, and you don't know who's coming out because we collab with everybody and anybody. And it's not about us. It's about what we do together. And, I want you guys to, and not just you guys, the industry, when they see CBC's doing a show, like, oh my God, who are they doing it with? Because that's what's coming. That's definitely what's coming.
I love that.
Yeah. No, man.
I'm excited.
We need to break the barriers down.
You see that spark of competitiveness in him.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I'm changing the world, bro. We're going to do this. We're doing this. We're doing this.
Yeah, no, it's really not optional at this point. It's going to happen.
All
we need to break the barriers down. It needs to be, we all do hair. Right?
Yeah.
Let's do it together.
Yeah.
Let's do it together and celebrate it and stop the nonsense of the competitive. I'm competitive, but everybody can have an abundance and win, right? Everybody wins at different things. Everybody wins at different levels, and even competitions. Some days
you can be competitive without shitting on people.
Well, that's it, right? That's it. I mean, some days in Naha, I've been nominated 23 times, right? I've won 5. That's not good odds. But the wins were really, really cool. But some of the losses, for me, what somebody would say is a loss. It wasn't the best thing in the competition, so it shouldn't have won that night. The best thing should win.
But you said it's not great odds. But thousands of people enter, and you win 20% of the time. That's pretty good. I'll play the lottery on that number.
Right? We should go to Vegas together.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it, man.
No,
it's all perspective.
It is perspective. Thank you for changing my perspective.
Chris is kind of being a dick right there, wasn't he? Like, for all you people that didn't even make it that far.
No, not at all. No, but I think it's a weird.
Sound like your uncle. 20% is not good enough.
Well, I think you got to strive, right? I mean, I wanted to win them all. I mean, if you're going to step to,
you didn't enter not to win.
No, exactly, right? Yeah. But I think the message is that the best thing should win. And was mine the best that night on all those nights? No. And I'm okay with that. And you got to look at it. It was the best thing I could put forward that day. And it gave me room to grow. Right. But it also, you look at it and go, of those 5 that are in the finals in that competition, if there's better stuff, it should win. And I'm okay saying that. And then you celebrate those people. Just as I would want the same thing in return if the industry picked mine that night.
Right.
Right.
So you got to celebrate everybody. It doesn't take anything away from me. It takes nothing away from me.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's cool to be able to go, look at this dude can do, or this girl can color and cut and whatever it is. Celebrate them.
I love that attitude, because if we all had, if we're excited for the person next to us that won, you know what I mean? In return, when eventually you do win, they're going to be excited for you. You know what I mean? But if you're pissed off and you're like, you're mad and you're angry, that negativity is just going to kill you.
Well, and and it's funny because as many Nahas, and I get people to reach out all the time. I want to shoot Naha. I want to do this. And it's are you doing it for the right reason? Have you ever even shot a photo?
Right.
Because that's the one I get a lot. Is all right. I've never done a photo shoot, but I want to enter Naha. I'm like, wow, that's a huge reach, right? Like, get in the flow of something.
Hire Dorina.
Dorina would definitely help that situation. Dorina would definitely help that situation. But I think it's taking things in progressions. Again, back to the goals, right? Small things you can succeed. Medium goals you start to build. Long-term goals you challenge yourself and go out. And I think it's the same thing.
Well, we get to look at Chris Benson. We get to look at CBC, and what people don't understand, or not that people don't. I hate saying that, but what needs to be understood, I think, is that. Not that this is the end game, but you're seeing the top of Chris, right? You're seeing Chris in his prime. You're not seeing like the years and years and years that it took to get to that.
Yes.
There, and you have to train your eye. You have to train, like you said, you have to train that dexterity and stuff. Chris, tell us.
People think it happened over yesterday.
Right.
You're amazing yesterday. That was 20 years of grind before we ever got to anything like that.
Completely.
Yeah.
What like physically, like what were your biggest challenges as far as like, man, I got to get better at X?
And I think it changes again. I think I really had a huge passion for color. Color has been something that's come really natural for me, and So cutting was something that I spent a lot of time. Spent time at Setsoon, spent time at TG. So because I wanted to have a good cross pollination of diversity from both perspectives. I think that the minute I'm not good at something and I can see what somebody else is good at, then that's the place for me to like spend the time to grow. Is it a different style? Is it, like right now I'm hot on the kids teaching me different braids, right? I mean, I can braid, and then I watch these kids braid and I'm like, yeah, I know. Like you can pick up 3 strands. You can pick up 3 strands of hair and start a braid, and I'm like, I would be,
right,
tied into knots with my fingers. So I think it's and that's part of for me why you collab with people and you put yourself in situations where maybe it's not comfortable or you don't know those people, because people will share, and everybody has a different way of doing things. It's how do you learn from somebody and be vulnerable enough to learn? And hear the word I'm saying, because you have to be vulnerable enough to say, I don't know.
Right.
And that's not always, and especially at my level, that's not always something where people are comfortable doing. Like, I stand on stage all weekend long, all over the place. And if I say I'm still learning, I think the days of old would have been like, then I'm not competent. And that's wrong. You should be learning. We all should be learning. And for me, the youth, the young ones, the seasoned ones, I think it's learn from everybody. Everybody has a different way of approaching things. Get your ego out of the way. Be vulnerable enough to learn. People will share.
That's the beauty of our industry, because even if you say you learned everything that needed to be learned, you're going to have those young ones that are going to change things up, right?
Seriously.
So they're going to change it. They're going to figure out new ways to do it. And you don't know those new ways,
Bro,
right? So now it's time.
Once again, how does Casey Powell come up? I've never seen anybody do what she's doing.
Yeah.
With the bobby pin
sculptures. I mean, she changed the game completely. And I think she was saying, like, she couldn't get the bobby pins in the hair, so she was like, I would just put it on the outside of the hair and create magic.
But see, that's how iconic things happen, is you do something that nobody else is doing, and then everybody starts to take note and follow you. I mean, I remember when you sent me and you're like, check Casey out, and I'd already had her on the radar, because not her, but her hair, right? So I'd already had her on the radar of like, who's doing this and what is this? Super beautiful, super cool. She stands on a main stage a year later with us. That's insane. That's
less than that, because you had her on main stage in January.
January, right? Yeah. So for me, that's what it's about, is like being able to put people in a position. Sarah Jane, we had them booked with us to do the collab at ICE before she was even announced for Naha, and then she ends up winning. And so, to watch her go through that space of showing us her pictures, and we decide to collab. They're on stage with us. She gets nominated, she wins, and then we're on stage the next day. It's like, was insane to watch that. And, it's a proud moment. It's a proud moment that you're with those people before it was successful as well, right? Not
other
just
people's perspective of successful, right?
Right, other people's perspective, right? And so for us, it was really cool to be able to like have that aligned with her before it was nominated in a win, right? To be able to go, we want to work with you because you're talent, not because you're a Naha winner. Because I think sometimes that happens. I mean, I get calls for stuff like that. How many times have you won? No, just do this. Let's do it. Why are you in this? Why do you want me to work with you? The award means nothing.
Yeah.
The award means nothing if you don't have the goods to back it up. And you can have an award. What are you going to do with it? You're going to share it?
Yeah.
You're going to pass stuff on? You're going to hoard it for yourself? Or are you going to just walk away and go, that was great? I mean, there's a responsibility when you take positions in this industry and you have success. There's responsibility that comes with that. And that, I think, was the part for me that really changed. When I realized as an educator, as a leader in the industry, when you come to stand on a stage, people expect to learn. People expect to walk away with what you did. And, the first few years on stage, probably had no business being there, but it was all about what I was doing, how cool I was, what kind of cool hair I was doing. And I remember walking off a stage and somebody's like, how did you do that? And I couldn't explain it because it was just so cool of what I was doing. I was so in it, I didn't even remember what the hell I did. And that was a moment for me that went, oh, wow, that's not okay.
Why am I doing this? Who am I doing
Why
this for?
Why am I doing this? Who am I doing this for? Is it about me? It has nothing to do with me. I think we're the catalyst. when you're standing on the stage, you should be prepared to be the catalyst of information and share that with the industry. If you're making it about you, you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, but it's sort of like when you're new, right, into the industry, like you said, sort of like when you're a kid, right? When you're a kid, it's all about you, right? It's me, me, me. I want. So when you're a juvenile in the industry, right, it's kind of the similar mentality.
No, it's no different. No, it's no different. It's no different. You just get older and wiser, and then you go, you know what? It really has nothing to do with me.
Right, yeah. Exactly.
It reminds me of like YOLO, right? You only live once. Like that's a totally different thing at 20 than it is at 50.
Isn't it?
Right?
Yeah.
At 20, it's like, how can I kill myself, basically,
Yeah.
because you only live once.
How far can I push the limit before I die?
And when you get older, you're like, slow down.
Yeah, slow down. I don't want to hurt. It's true. So true.
Oh my God,
It's so true. It's so true.
That's
Man.
craziness,
So I guess, I mean, you kind of let the cat out of the bag a little bit. You said, there's some like, so, I'm not talking about this weekend show, but like, what's going on with CBD?
CBD.
I mean,
a lot's going on with CBD.
I mean, that's CBC. Yeah.
I don't know. You tell me what's going on.
Right.
No, man. It's CBC has always been. It was created as a production company. Okay, and the whole premise of this was we wanted to do education. We wanted to do shows. We wanted to create a platform for other artists, and then we happened to do some tools and stuff as well. So it was really more of a multifaceted approach as opposed to just one approach. And now we're really focusing on that kind of an identity of working with collabs, working with the, show groups to produce different shows and put some sauce back into what the hell's going on with all these. And I don't think it's a negative. I just think we've gotten away from it. It costs money, and it's and I get that. And there's budgets. I also think that there's a big space that's being missed, and I know there's a lot of people that have said the same thing. And so I think it's how do we align those people? How do we put different people on stage that you would have never expected to be on a stage together? For me, I think that's what it's about, and in a collective, right? It's not me.
Right.
It's Chrystofer Benson Collective, but the whole reason it's CBC is because I didn't want it to be my name. And so it was the best of both. You talk to all the people as you're doing a business and go, Chris, you should do your name. And I'm like, God, I really don't want to do my name. So it was kind of the best of both worlds of, yes, the credibility, I guess, if you will, is there, but it's not per se me. So it was kind of the best of both worlds at the time.
So, Chris, how do you I don't want to use Casey in that, but how do you find the up and comers? Are you just always on the search for it, or do you not search for it and when you see it, you know it?
Are you stalking? Are you a stalker?
Actually, I know that because Chris responds to everybody.
Oh, thank you for that, man. That means a lot. No, I think it's like it goes back to your mentors. How do you want to do it? I had mentors that were like, shut up and watch, which sucked, and I never wanted to be like that. I had mentors that were like, come here and let me share with you. And so I think the same thing. I think if somebody is vulnerable enough to reach out to you, you should get back to them. I mean, my God, like, come on, I mean, I have a crazy busy schedule, but yeah, you got to get back to them. And a lot of it's come from that, honestly, like people reaching out and you just have a conversation, start watching their work. Or if I see something like unique scrolling through social, I'll stop and look at it. If it's their page and you start looking at, that's kind of their style and you like it, then I'll definitely follow them. But I like to give love to lots of people, man. I mean, even for me, if it's not something necessarily I would do, it doesn't mean you can't give somebody love. And I think that's one thing this last, I would say 6 months that I've really tried to do is be heavy on social. And even if it's not something I would necessarily duplicate or replicate or take on as my own, give people love, because I think as they're coming up, it could be that shot in the arm that they just needed. Yeah. And to push them into, finding their uniqueness and their success. And that's been hugely gratifying just to see the DMs and people responding and like just shocked, which shocks me that they're shocked that I'm commenting their stuff. I'm like, fangirling, and I can't believe you commented, and that for me is that's super endearing. Mm-hmm. It's still a little surreal to me that that's the kind of stuff I get back. But man, if it's me stopping my day to give you some love, like what people have been gracious enough to do for me, it's well worth it.
That's awesome.
It's well worth it.
And I think you're right. I think like even, if a Chris Benson were to give you any kind of validation at all, who knows where that leads, right?
This is weird hearing you say it like that way, right? If Chris stops his day, and that's still weird,
Yeah, I get it.
No,
but it's real.
No, it's real. It's just I've always had that. Just I don't know. You want to keep a really good. I'm confident what I can do. You want to keep your humility to it, So it's when you hear somebody reflect that back. Or I was somewhere the other day and they're like reading off a laundry list of awards, and you're just like, you remember doing them all, but when you have somebody sit there and say that to you, or like, oh my God, you're an icon, you're a master, I just came off the color stage, and then people are saying that, like, I've watched you for 15 years, you're just like an icon, and they're just like, oh my God, that's who are you talking to? You know what I mean? And I know what I'm capable of, and I'm definitely capable of. I know what I'm not capable of as well, which I think is just as important. But no, it's still a little surreal. It's still a little, I never, for me, it's still a very humbling thing that somebody will stop their day and say that to you. That's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
You've always been kind to us. You've always, treated us, with open arms, and we truly appreciate that. And a lot of times, that you do see people when they reach your level, they kind of just, shut everything else out, right? So they're just laser focused from where they got to go, boom, 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 and. I mean, you do.
I'm still laser focused.
Well, you know what I mean.
But you know what I mean.
You don't see the things
it's
around
not a tunnel
you.
vision, though. I think it becomes tunnel vision, right? And I think it's the same thing. I think our generation is the generation that changes it from, superstar, unattainable to, a leader that can definitely be somebody to look at, hopefully, and people want to, emulate. I mean, I look at people like Sam Villa, Chris Barron, Nicholas French that have been hugely inspirational. Vidal Sassoon, Trevor Sorby, Anthony Mascolo. These are icons that have just done amazing things in the industry and did it selflessly. And I think that that's a magical thing. And we need more of that. We need more of those people. We need to celebrate those people. Robert Labettas, we need those people that care so much about the craft. Stephen Moody's, right? We need those people that care so much about the craft. They won't sacrifice the craft. And that's what I think right now sometimes is missing. I think it's become instant, it's become fast, and it's not necessarily the best. And I think for me, you got to put your best forward to be your best. Not what you can cut corners, not what you can get away with. Right, we've all lived our lives in some aspect of that. Like, if I run this red light, I don't need this. Right, if I miss this stop sign, it's not going to be a big deal. But I think it's
until you get the ticket.
Until you get the ticket, right? And I think that ultimately that's integrity. I've let stuff walk out of the salon that you go, shit, she's not coming back, and then she comes back. You're like, oh my God, she came back. She came back for a redo, and she came back because she liked you as a person. It wasn't because of the hair you were doing, right? So I think it's perspective. You gotta put out the right things to people, and man, I appreciate you guys saying that. I always hope to keep that humility and treat people with respect. You treat people how you want to be treated, ultimately, right? You treat people shitty, it's going to come back to you at some point. And I've done that in life. I had a chip on my shoulder young in my life, and I think part of it not having my dad. Why poor me? And you can focus on the poor me of any situation. I mean, you talk to anybody long enough, everybody has shit in their life that they grew up and could just sit on and dwell on. Or you go, okay, that was what was my normal. It's probably not normal, but what is normal, right? Normal is what somebody labels it. So I think when you look at that and you grow from that, you go, all right, you do it different. And yeah, man, it's at some point you gotta do it for the right reasons. And I think giving back, caring about people, there's nothing wrong with caring about people. There's nothing wrong with having a smile on your face. There's nothing wrong with treating people with respect. And I mean, we're human. And I think when we look at each other and go, there's some kind of a connection. Doesn't mean I'm your brother. It doesn't mean I'm your sister, but there's a human connection. And I think when you get to a space in life where you realize you have a responsibility in that human connection, it's hard to treat people bad.
Right.
Yeah.
When you look at it from that perspective, right? It's hard to treat somebody bad. So, but I think everybody brings baggage. It's what you bring into it. But I appreciate you saying that, because that means a lot. That means a lot to me that you guys feel that way.
It's pretty interesting. And again, we've learned this through the podcast, really. And that's what we were talking about, the chip on the shoulder and stuff. Like, the people that we've been fortunate enough to talk to, it's kind of like you get to a level where that's removed, or you can't grow past that level, right? Like the people that we've talked to, again, once that are at the top of our industry, including Chris, it seems like that chip's been filed down or removed or something. And so, is it because you have success and like you don't need it anymore, or is it because if you carry that chip, you're not going? There's only you're limited.
I think it's both. Yeah, I think it's both, and I think it's both for different reasons. I think if you carry that, ultimately, again, it goes back to the same thing. You're either focusing on it and you're giving it energy, or you're not. And I think when you hold on to that stuff sometimes what you hold on you don't want is manifesting it to happen. And I think when you can,
that's a good perspective, by the way.
No, I start my day every day with like, what are you grateful for? And I end my day on the same thing, because
I hope at the end of today it's like I was on that podcast.
You know it is, boys. Come on, you know it is. Damn it took us a year, but we got there. Praise it. No, I mean, and honestly, it could be the most simple things, but every day I start with a gratitude list of what am I grateful for? I mean, like today, being able to be on a stage and share, having a great team to support me in it. An industry I love. I mean, these are, it doesn't have to be complicated things. I just think that it's starting, the right mindset. So when you continue through your day starts very different than on a negative note. And
right.
For me, that was huge. That was huge in my career to start it that way. And then you end it that way. It's like, okay, what did I accomplish today? So kind of back to that mental notes of writing it down. And then I think the writing it down for me was it gets it out of my head, and it puts it on paper, which is a commitment to me. You can run a lot of stuff in your head.
Right, yeah.
If you don't ever write it down, it's like, yeah, it never happened. I never really thought about that. That's bullshit.
Well, I assure you, the stuff that runs through my head, I don't want to write down because I want it to pass through.
There's definitely stuff I do not write down.
We're going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
I kind of want to, and this is kind of awkward for me to say, but last night we were all at this great event, and it was really cool to me because once again there wasn't really any ego in the room, but there could have been.
Oh yeah,
right. There wasn't any. The really cool thing to us too is that there was all these different brands being represented, but none of them were being represented by a brand.
Right.
It was just the actual people of the industry getting together and just kind of networking and hanging out, and legitimately zero ego in the room.
Yep. I think we'll see more of that, honestly.
I think that's where we're growing to. I think that was my point, right?
Yeah, I think that's where we're all growing to. I don't think it's about them and us and, I work for this brand and I can't associate with you. I think that is definitely, collaboration is huge. And that can look a lot of different ways and community is huge. And the hair industry is a community. It's a huge community. And, it can't be about them and us. It can't be about you and what we do. Everybody's going to do their uniqueness, but you can support each other. You can go and be in a room with all those people and professionals without it being a bloodbath and an ego fest. And we're cooler than you. And I mean, we're not that cool. I'm not that cool for sure. I'll just
kind of that room.
I'll take that out of the mix. I'm not that cool
at all.
I'm sure other people will tell you different, but I'm not that cool. So
last night was kind of like who can be goofier, right? There's a lot of goofiness going on last night,
And I think it's good because the industry has changed. I think it is also helped to I think it was really a lot of the social people. As social got big, it was like a lot of the social people hung out, and then it was like a lot of the brand educators hung out. But a lot of that wasn't being mixed up. And now it's really being mixed up because we all do hair. And it wasn't, and that's where I think it's really good because it was them and what, we're socially getting together and it's all the social influencers. And then, the brands are getting together and it's what the brands are doing. And that cross-pollination has been just an absolute blessing because we're all learning and growing from each other. And I think when egos can get out of the way, and I think it's also, when people can mingle like that, numerous times I get said that, like, you're so different than what I thought you were. It's like, what the hell does that mean? Because I'm intense. I mean, there's no question I'm intense when I'm on stage and, what kind of hair we do. And I'm hugely passionate about it. And I think people sometimes take that as like, you're intimidating. And then you talk to people and they're like, God, you're so different and easygoing. And it's interesting how people have that perception. And so for me, it's like, you have a smile on your face. Chris, it's not that bad. Right. So I try and always have a smile on my face and just be cool with people. And it's amazing to see how different even in this last, I would say 9 months of spending more time with a lot of social people, they're just like, wow, you're very different. So it's good.
That's really cool.
That's awesome.
Do you? I mean, with that intent, I guess here's what I'm saying. Like, do you also have the whatever to like pick up a young hairdresser and be like, bro, get your shit together?
Oh, many.
Yeah.
No, this is a business, man, and it's a profession. And like when I hear stuff like being deregulated or talked about, or people, getting in the industry and not taking it serious, you need to either get your shit together or get out. There's no sense in it. I've talked more people out of getting into this industry than getting into it. I say that because they're getting into it for the wrong reasons. They see the glitz, the glamour. They see me travel. They're like, my God, you're around amazing people all the time. What they don't see is waking up at 3:30 with 5 bags and dragging that to the airport to catch a flight, right? And they don't realize the sacrifice. And so, people see the shiny side. They don't see the grind that leads up to that. And there's a huge commitment, man. I mean, there's a huge commitment to that. I've missed many holidays. I've missed many birthdays. I've missed many, family functions. And my family, luckily enough, is crazy supportive and understanding. But yeah, I mean, they're like, dude, are you still alive? He must be because he's on social.
Got to talk to Chris. I got to DM him.
Listen, my cousins just DM me. They were so cute. They're like, we haven't seen you in a bit. We thought we'd DM you. I was like, oh my God, my cousins are on social now. So no, it's good. It's good.
That's awesome.
It's good.
Chris, man, you blow me away, bro.
Why do you say that, brother?
I think your perspective is spot on. I think our industry is ready for this. Quite honestly, if we've seen any success at all out of this podcast, I think it's because of that. Yeah. And I think that we're just trying to kind of level the playing field. I'll tell you that even the happiest or the proudest thing, Tony and I talked about this morning, was even for last night, it was to be able to take young hairdressers who were kind of like, oh my God, this room is crazy, and just to be able to introduce them to some of the people that influenced them, and for us to kind of create that bridge between the two was really, really cool. And it's what we're trying to, there shouldn't be that.
No,
is what I'm saying.
We're all one industry, man.
And it was really cool. It was really cool to be able to do that. And that's even with the podcast, that's what we've always tried to do. Like, hopefully we can kind of bridge some kind of gap. And like, listen, Chris is a cool dude. If you see him smiling there, go slap him in the ass or something.
Yeah. He's smiling until he gets on stage, and then the intensity comes in. It's like, God, some of the pictures I get back, I'm like, dude, do you like hair? You look like you want to kill it.
Right.
That's awesome, Chris.
Yeah. For our listeners, we'll let you know how tomorrow goes. We're not gonna
Please let me know how it goes.
Exactly.
No, and I say that because I want to shake the industry back into there was great shows that people have done in the past, and I'm not saying there's not great shows now. I just think that I remember walking away from main stage just blown away, like inspirational, just blown away. Could not wait to get back into the salon. Could not wait to go create. And is it what I was going to necessarily use the next day? No, but I was on fire walking out of there, and that's what we want to put back into the industry, is people on fire, and walk out of a place and go, holy shit, I didn't even expect that. That's what we want people to walk away with.
Can't wait.
Love it. On that note, Mr. Chris Benson, thank you very, very much for joining us on your day off. Although Chris doesn't have a day off.
That's true.
Hey, so there it is. Hey, this is a message that we've been trying to bring, I don't know, for the last couple months, actually since we started the podcast. Hey, so if you like the podcast or if you find that it's useful, please leave us a review, a 5-star review on iTunes. Leave us a rating and a review.
But if you don't like it, forget about it.
Yeah, totally forget about this message. We also want to thank Sarah and Blaine from Pretty Gritty. Sarah and Blaine, they are a band out of Portland, Oregon, and we just want to thank them very much for allowing us to use their song, Pleased to Meet You, on our podcast. That's cool. I think you can find their music on iTunes.
Peace and hair grease.